I have discovered an absolute bargain, nay steal, online, and I bought it. It's under there, and I reckon it has to be the best value mirrorless camera of 2020, especially if you're like me, a hybrid shooter, video and photo, and you need IBIS. This is a bargain. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm hoping it's going to replace this baby. This is my Sony a7 III. Stunning camera, really good, very powerful. And I know a lot of people personally that have got these and love them. Now, as good as this camera is, I've never enjoyed using it. I've just never got on with it. Even like now, I'm holding it, you can see it's rubbing against, it's rubbing against my knuckles. I don't know, I've just never got on with it. So I've always been looking for something to replace it. Now, this is superb because, as I said, it's got IBIS. So if I've got to go to a commercial location, a corporate event or something, and I can only bring like no camera bag, no tripod, one lens, that sort of thing, and I need to be able to perhaps film and photograph, then this is my only option because of the IBIS and obviously the low light facilities on it. But this is a 24-70 f4 Zeiss lens on there. Mine's rubbish. I've just never got on with this lens. It's soft as anything at f4, and to be honest with you, I've always been disappointed with the IBIS between the two lenses. Now I've got other lenses, but this being, I think, my only image stabilized lens, Sony wise, yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, I had the 70-200 as well, but that was better, but it still, you know, it just wasn't. I was never that impressed with the IBIS on this camera. The colors on this camera, the video colors, you have to be able to grade, you have to be able to use the log. I just never got on with the colors on it. But yeah, and the ergonomics, just basic for video and photographing. I just couldn't set it up in a way that it suited my needs for video and photograph. If you're using it just for video, or if you're using it just for photography, then you can set it up perfectly. It's phenomenal, and the focusing on it is perfect. The battery on it's perfect. The raw files on it are amazing. It's a very capable camera. I've just never enjoyed using it. So the other problem was I film all my sort of concerts, events and interviews with Fuji cameras. So my other cameras, like the XT4, which I'm filming on now, would normally be in a Turner or something like that. The B-roll that I get off this would obviously need grading to try and look like the Fuji cameras. That was always a problem. So when this camera came along, and I seen this one online, I knew I had to snap it up. Now, I'm going to show you what it is now. Don't hate me, all right? I'm going to reveal it now. Ta-da! There it is, the Fujifilm XH1. Now I know, don't look at me like that, I know if you watch my channel, you'll know I had one of these and I hated it. And the reason I hated it was because it was buggy as anything. It's a stunning camera, beautiful camera, ergonomics, file quality, everything, video quality, beautiful. But man, I had it from day one. The first one, the day it was released, I picked one up, and it used to lock up constantly. So I did not get on with this camera at all. But when I sold it and swapped it for the a7 III, I always missed it because obviously it's got the IBIS, but the colours and just the overall the shooting experience of a Fuji camera is just so nice. I love the grip and everything and the way it was designed, and it's just a stunning. Probably prefer it over the XT3, to be honest. Ergonomically, it's just gorgeous. I love it, especially with a big lens. Now I picked this camera up brand new for 700 quid with a 2-year warranty. That's a 4K IBIS 24.4 I think megapixel camera, crop sensor. So it's a step down from the full frame, but I think I'm actually leaning towards preferring crop sensor cameras anyway. 200 meg a second 4K and 120 frames per second in 1080. So it's a very capable camera. It's not without its flaws still, but it looks like I've had this for a week. I did a 6-hour film with it the other day, not constantly, but 6 hours of filming the other day, and I've done quite a bit of photography with it, and touch wood, absolutely no issues. So version 2.1, the firmware is on this at the minute, and I believe after speaking to a few of you guys that watch my channel and that have got this and say that the firmware has fixed it, it seems fine. Now, the reason I bought this camera, I just point out, was it as a B-roll camera. This is mainly a B-roll camera. My main camera is still going to be the XT3 or the X Pro 2 or the X100V. So this is literally just a B-roll camera. So buying it for its IBIS and video capabilities. So when it used to lock up, it was in sort of continuous low. I think it was on this. Yeah, continuous low. Sort of photographing events or weddings or something like that. So it was always in photo mode when it locked up. So as a video camera, as a hybrid video camera, I'm really excited to use it. I'm really excited to be able to get my Fuji colours back in my B-roll footage. So yeah, really, really excited to use this. But I can't help but say the specs for I mean, it's probably, I think they're nearly 2 years old, these cameras. But what a bargain. 4K, I mean, if you're looking for an IBIS camera, if you let me know in the comments which IBIS camera you think is better value than this right now, for 700 quid brand new with a 2-year warranty, 600 if you want to get one that's like new from a retailer with warranty. Insane value, because I mean the spec of it is already, I put the spec up here for you. The spec is insane, and it's hard to beat even 2 years later for the money. Now, I'm not going to lie, I really wanted the XT4, the Fujifilm XT4. Now, the reason I'd have bought the Fujifilm XT4 mainly is for the IBIS and definitely the extra battery. One thing I will say about the XH1 is the battery on them is abysmal if you're using it for video, especially with IBIS. So the battery isn't good. But I mean, I've probably got 6 or 8 Fuji batteries now anyway, so it's not really that big a deal. And as I said, I'll be using this in for B-roll anyway, which means you stop starting all the time anyway, so there's no problem to change the battery. The XT4 looks incredible, though I don't like flip screen cameras. That is the only thing I think I don't like about the camera. It looks perfect on paper, otherwise the spec, video, you get an extra stop of IBIS as well, so it's 6.5 with some lenses on the XT4, so that does look an insane camera. But at the minute, when I picked this up, I think it was 1,400 quid, so double the price of this, more than double the price of this. Now, as we're currently in lockdown and my business is down about 80% income, so next to not trading, it's a real difficult decision to even justify buying this, but because I knew they were all going to fly out, and I was going to miss out on an amazing opportunity, especially with a 2-year warranty. I had to get it. But yeah, the XT4 would have probably been my preference if business was as usual. So what I've decided to do is if this is 600 quid and I use it for a year and I sell it in 12 to 18 months or whatever, 16 months next year, and I lose 300 quid and I sell it for 300 quid, it's literally not cost me anything. I've had like pretty much what I consider a free camera for a year. So I could sell that or part exit for an XT4 next year, and I'm quids in as far as I'm concerned. You can't lose money on a camera that's that cheap. So I'm absolutely thrilled with it. As I say, the battery's dreadful, but you can get a grip on the bottom of it, so it gives you an extra 2 batteries. That'll also mean that you can film for 30 minutes in 4K as well, and it also gives you a PowerPoint on the side of it as well. So you can upgrade this camera. The focusing on it's amazing, the RAW files on it are amazing, video 4K 200 meg is amazing on it. As I said, the IBIS is definitely, in my opinion, better than the Sony. So ergonomically, the colours, I just adore Fuji colours, especially with video, because I haven't got to grade them. If a customer needs anything fast, the video turnaround is like minutes as opposed to hours if I've got to go through. And don't get me wrong, if you're good at like grading and you use LUTs and you want the sort of modern looking, yeah, a lot of people go over the top, I think, with LUTs, but you can really pull some amazing things out of the Sony. But I just like to be able to film this in a Turner, add as quick a Turner profile that I've got on my Final Cut or whatever, and it's job done. Or I can film in Acros, or film in Classic Chrome, or I can film in Provia, or ProNeg Standard's a really good profile for filming for the colours, and they're just so good straight out of camera. The colours is just there. And it's obviously got touchscreen. It's phenomenal EVF. I've never really been a fan of the EVF in the Sony either, so the EVF in this is definitely better. But as I say, it's high ISO is brilliant on it. It's just, see, the tempting thing was to get something like, if you were looking for a good hybrid camera, would be to get something like the Lumix or the Olympus, because the IBIS on them is phenomenal. They're really powerful cameras. But I might be completely wrong on this, and let me know in the comments if I am, but I've never shot with a Micro Four Thirds camera. Don't think. I had a Lumix briefly, but didn't keep it. And I just don't trust whether or not the high ISO is going to be there, whether or not the dynamic range is going to be there. But also, this is the best of both worlds. Obviously, having the full frame there if I need to blur anything out in the background, or if I'm going to be shooting high ISO. But this is the next step down, and it's a bit of a compromise. So the depth of field you get off a crop sensor camera, in my opinion, makes the crop sensor camera a preference to me. I think I prefer 90% of the time having a crop sensor camera. I think if I went down to a Micro Four Thirds, I'd be compromising a bit too much, and I'd worry about like what lenses I'd have to have that would enable me to blur the background. I might be wrong, and if I am, apologies. I've never really used one. I remember using my Lumix before, and I adapted some old vintage lenses like the old Pentax 1.7s and stuff, and it did work. But you know, I just definitely, I think crop sensor for me is the perfect sort of middle ground. So yeah, thrilled with it. And obviously I've got my L bracket on there and my screen protector straight away. So I just think it's an absolute steal for the money. I mean, the XT4 looks like a phenomenal camera. But I'll definitely wait for the price to drop down before I might even get a second-hand one, and when it comes down to about £1,000, because this will probably still sell for about 300 quid if I look after it, 400 quid perhaps. So I just don't really see how you can lose any money on it. It's just a steal, so I'm thrilled with it. But you let me know in the comments if you could decide on what hybrid camera. It has to be IBIS, has to be good video and photo, and good in low light as well. So if you could take one camera and one lens into it and do everything, video, photo, what camera would you choose? And as I say, I've got my XT3, which I'm filming on now, X Pro 2, X100V, what else have I got? And so now to have all the colours the same, it just means that I can just throw the clips together and there's no grading, because I used to have to grade the B-roll off the Sony to match the Fuji, and it just didn't happen. The other thing is the XT4 has got a flip out screen. I've got one on this M50, which is my sort of YouTube point at yourself sort of camera. Now it's great for that, but anything else I've just never found filming with a flip out screen that I don't know, you get used to them, you do get used to them, but I much prefer on the XT3 and on the XH1 just having it like that. I much prefer it, and I do love that you can flip this out like that as well. Tilts down, tilts up, flat. So for me, that's how I film most of the time anyway, like that. So I'm really pleased with it. I think it's an absolute steal. I urge you to look at them. I'll put a link in the description. I can't think of anything I'm missing. I know that the video is clipped at 15 minutes in 4K and 20 minutes at 1080p, but if that's not a big deal, and as I say, I'm using it for B-roll anyway, which is only 30 seconds to a minute or two anyway. So I just think it's an absolute steal of a camera, and definitely shouldn't be written off. Do check them out, look at them secondhand and stuff like that. So I think they say the IBIS is amazing on it as well. So hopefully now, if you're using it for stills and it looks like they've fixed the lockup issues, and maybe that was just the earlier models of the cameras, the ones that first came out that had the problems, the teething problems. I don't know, but I'm really pleased with it. I think it's an absolute steal. But anyway, let me know what you would consider the best value camera of 2020. I'm not saying by any means I'm right. Let me know what you think. With my Fuji colours and everything, I'm just more than happy with that. So yeah, anyway, let me know what you think, and if there's anything I missed out, let me know in the comments. Cheers for watching, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll see you again soon. Take care.